this situation, as per archaeology, there was never Judea, there was never Israel till Greek period. The entire stories were made up. The second temple period.
There is a quote from the same book that Devapriyaji is quoting often, Bible Unearthed. Here, Professor Israel is saying, towards the end of the 7th century BC, scribes, priests, peasants and prophets came together to create a new movement and started writing up the Bible. So he is saying it could have been written as early as 7th century BC. Professor Israel Finkelstein himself is saying it could have been written in around 7th century BC. Oh, right. So I'm going to be referring from another book which is called as Rise of Ancient Israel. In this book, there are a lot of references to show the early history and archaeology, to show the early history and archaeology of Israel. This is the Merneptah stele, which is an Egyptian slate dating from 1207 BC, that is 12th century BC, which mentions about the term Israel being conquered or being destroyed by the Egyptians. So Israel existed way back in 12th century BC at least. Professor Baruch Halperin also says this particular depiction seen in the Egyptian museum is considered by majority of the scholars to represent a particular shepherd king called as Hyksos, who most of the scholars consider to be denoting Joseph of the Bible. And again he is quoting Professor Finkelstein because he says that the Bible, the Deuteronomical history, bears unmistakable hallmarks of the initial compilation in the 7th century BC. So the Deuteronomical history dates back to at least 7th century BC, not 2nd century. There are multiple quotes from Professor where he says that the Deuteronomy has been written at least from the 7th century BC.